really sense it. They know deep within their heart there is something going wrong and they want to do something. What are the road signs when it comes to mental health illnesses? Hello and welcome back to Psych, Afric, where we learn about mental health and how we stop the stigma around it. Family sense it. Loved ones do know exactly there is something going on. Something is happening and they have to help. When a loved one is slipping into mental illness, it can be so devastating. So the question then is, what can I do? What are the road signs to mental illnesses? There are two, just two. Symptoms and time. Yes, with symptoms, there is a change in thinking, change in mood, and change in behavior. And with time, it should persist. So let's take the mood. If you see the mood of your loved one has dramatically changed, they are very tearful, they are easily irritable, they get angry, they don't like socializing, like going out, seeing friends, they spend the weekend in bed, that's something you have to watch out for. Now, the thinking. When a person had problem with the thinking, their ideas really don't make sense. You have problems following what they say. It's quite confusing, and they have problems putting thoughts together, one after the other. That is also a sign the person is having mental health issues. And then comes behavior. So with behavior, the person is really picking at his foods. The person is spending the weekend in bed. The person behaves oddly, dresses somehow not like he or she used to do before, some kind of weird, doesn't care, taking shower, bathing. These are things or patterns that you have to look out for. The next road sign to look out for then is time. And with time, in fact, these symptoms that I mentioned before do persist. So, and it should be so as to call it an illness. That's how clinicians can diagnose, because these symptoms don't come and go, but they stay. They are persistent. And that is what you have to know as a loved one, as a family member. They do persist. So the next thing is to have safety in mind. There are times the person is at risk at himself and to others. So please keep this at the back of your mind, and it should be a priority as well when it comes to dealing with mental illnesses. So safety should be your priority. These symptoms persist, and the people who are suffering from it don't get better on their own. Many times, like I also have it within my family members have issues, problems, trusting what they are seeing. Therefore, my advice, please jot down, write down your observations. What do you see? Please, not what you feel or think, but write what you see, what you are observing. For example, cried the whole weekend, stop bathing, to help you. Mrs. Work picks at his food, etc. After writing down these observations, please try and ask another family member, another person, if what you have been observing is also what they've been seeing, in order to be validated, to know for sure you are not just making up things, but yes, you are on the right path and this person needs help. With this same information that you have, you become a vocal advocate for your loved one, because most often mental illnesses and its unawareness, those who are suffering from mental illnesses are mostly not aware that they are suffering from the illness. With this information, you get one, a validation. Two, you have enough information for the clinician so as to help give better treatment. And thirdly, because these people, the family members who are suffering from mental illnesses, mostly don't come out and talk about this, perhaps because they feel ashamed, or maybe they don't want to be a burden onto you. It's also helpful if you have somebody who knows or thinks the same to help you confront this loved one. Of course, I would say in a extended family, we all have people facing mental health issues, known and unknown, because statistically, out of 400, 100 have it. If mental illness has entered your family, these are 4 ways to turn the problems into solutions. So 1, don't go on it alone. 2, don't fight. So 3, learn about the mental health system in the country you are, rules and their regulations, and how to bend them. 4, know you are on a marathon than on a sprint. So now let's deal with the first one. You don't have to be in this alone. There are people out there, people like myself, who have gone through this with their families, who are ready to share their experiences. I'm sure your neighbor, that church member, a person, somebody in your community has been through this before. Consult this person, ask them. We have family to family foundations, and wherever you are, there are national alliances. You can contact your doctor or a clergy and ask for help. Please don't work through this alone. You have support than you think, because this is normal. A whole lot of people have been through. It's just a matter of fact that people don't talk about it because of numerous reasons, like people see it to be a disgrace, and people are ashamed, and people think, no, that's something you shouldn't talk about, which I am against, but obviously you can see. So please, just don't do this alone. Get help. Secondly, don't get into fights. That is very difficult, because you know why? When you saw things changing, you tried persuasion, you tried like the softest way, you tried normal, you tried now, and there is this saying that goes, if persuasion fails, yes, force has to be applied. Whether we like it or not, sometimes we amplify our voices, we get louder, we scream, because we tried everything in our means and it's still not working. So we think if we cry out louder, it's going to help. Out of a desperate mood, we want to help. Nothing seems to work. We get louder, we get more aggressive, we start talking and insulting, and this backfires. So please, you can imagine how your loved one who is going through this mental illness will react. They will detach themselves, they will lose trust, and they will think you are trying to father them. Because you, in your desperate ways, are trying to take their power. They want to control their life, and if you start screaming and yelling about how they should get medication and get help, this is not going to help. So please, don't fight. Because you shouldn't fight, there are 2 ways I'd like to recommend. Use listening and leverage. To each behavior, there is a reason. People just don't behave without a cause or a reason. So get to know about it. Sit your loved one down. Listen to them. Your child is on drugs, is in his room, not wanting to go out. Go in. Upon all the solutions in the world, your child chose to smoke. Get to him. Get to his room. Ask him why that. How is it helping him? You might find out. And based on that, find a better solution. The next one is leverage. What do I mean by that? In families, you give and take. So what you give, you get back. So you just tell your loved one, hey, I am now taking your child to me. Make sure you get the medications or mental health needed. And after that, I am giving you your child back. Or, hey, I am offering you my car, that house. But in return, you will have to work on yourself. You negotiate with your family member. They will just have to work on themselves, and then they come back and get what is theirs. So it's a give and take. How devastating is it for a parent to call and just be told you are not allowed to be informed because of a certain federal law that governs the privacy of the person, and you don't know what to do? Learn about the rules and regulations around mental health and bend it for yourself. What if I told you, if you got yourself a clinician on the line who called and said, hey, listen, you are not allowed to give me information, but I am telling you, this person has these problems going on. So you could get your loved one the help, the necessary help needed. So that is also an important thing to note when it comes to mental health issues. Now, the last thing is you are more on a marathon than on a sprint. Dealing with a family member with mental illness is not easy. There are setbacks. They may have gone that far and then they stop the medication. So even clinicians can tell you whether they will be well, whether they are well, when and how. It's a testing phase, and you always have to have hope. Out of my experience, just to give you an example, it took me almost a year to teach my mom how to open the car. Now, can you imagine if I did the mistake and bought a new car with a different way to open the door? This is something you need to keep in mind. There are always setbacks, and nobody guarantees you, but you have to keep hope alive. And your family member, your loved one needs support, and again, support. So this is my message for people who have family members suffering from mental illnesses. So today, in short, you have 2 road signs to look out for when it comes to mental illnesses. 1 is symptom, 2 is time. So you have thinking, mood change, and behavior change. And with that comes along how you handle it. You don't fight. You don't go into this alone. You are more on a marathon than on a sprint. And what I believe to be the most important one, you learn about the mental health system in your country, its rules and regulations, and how to bend them, because it's so devastating to have somebody on the other side withholding information for you because your loved one is 18, because parents and loved one have died owing to these laws. Learn about it to bend these regulations to help you survive and help your loved one get well soon. Thanks so much for being here. Share this message so people who are suffering with their family members will get a little bit help from this. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and see you next time. Bye.